We'll turn to Los Angeles now, where hundreds are out at a protest in that city. NBC's David Noriega is on the scene, where we just saw some police, David, responding to the crowds there. Talk us through what's happening right now.
Yeah, here, come with me. I'll show you. I'm on Temple and Main in downtown LA. The federal building where the Marines and National Guard are posted up is there. Here, what you see is the remnants of the peaceful protest of thousands of people that started at City Hall, which is that building right behind me, earlier today. And I'm going to speak a little slowly here, guys, because every time I take a breath in, it's labored because of the gas mask that I'm wearing, which I'm wearing because there, what you see is members of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department who have been deploying a number of chemical agents, tear gas, pepper spray, in addition to flashbang grenades. A number of mounted units just went to the line behind the tanks and the riot officers in the front there. I want to make something very clear. I cannot account for the actions of every protester out here today, of course. But I want to tell you that every single gathering that I've seen today has been 100% peaceful. I've seen people antagonizing Marines and National Guard troops with their words. That is the most aggressive action I've seen by a protester. The dramatic images you see behind me right now are not the result, as far as I've seen, as one person standing out here, are not the result of the actions of the protesters, but the result of the actions of the police, and specifically the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, who moved very aggressively to disperse this crowd and move them away from the federal building. The context for this, you guys, that's important to remember, is that the local law enforcement agencies that you see, the Sheriff's Department, the LAPD, the California Highway Patrol, which is about a block that way protecting the 101 freeway entrance and exits, are under the control of Democratic officials who are walking a tightrope between, on the one hand, showing their support for the protesters and their opposition to indiscriminate ICE raids in Southern California, and on the other hand, preventing the kind of riotous behavior that we saw last weekend. People setting Waymos on fire, dropping things off of highway overpasses onto police cars. They want to make sure that you and everybody else watching doesn't see anything that would justify the presence of National Guard troops and Marines in this city. From what I've seen in the last hour and a half, those law enforcement agencies and the officials that control them are erring dramatically on the side of preventing any kind of riotous behavior by not allowing groups of protesters to congregate on streets or at intersections for longer than a few minutes at a time, and using, I want to stress this, that's pepper spray right there. I don't know if you see the yellow flashbang. There are guys firing pepper balls. Okay, we need to move this way. I should stress also that they don't seem to be making a great effort to avoid hitting us, the press. Last point I'll make before I toss it back to you guys. It's important to note that we're dealing with different law enforcement agencies commanded by different people with different cultures. I saw LAPD on the other side of this building successfully disperse a crowd without deploying any kind of chemical agent, a single mounted officer, without deploying any kind of less lethal munition. This is the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, and they were, I want to stress this is what I've seen. I cannot account for the actions of any protester, but what I saw was LA Sheriff's Department very quick to use less lethal force, chemical agents. We're all getting alarm notices on our phones, probably about street closures here in downtown LA. I thought this was going to happen about 8 p.m. It started happening around 4 p.m. That's how quick the law enforcement agencies were to make sure that nobody could congregate outside that federal building where Marines and National Guard troops are posted up for more than a few minutes at a time. I think there were protesters out there for less than an hour. And I'm going to toss it back to you guys because I want to make sure we're positioned well here.
David, we'll give you an opportunity here.
But we'll be out here. We'll be out here.
I am going to ask you another question. I want to give you a chance to sort of move if you need to as you're doing that. And I'm curious, we heard from Jacob Soboroff a little bit earlier that a dispersal order had been given in the location where he was. I'm wondering if that is something that is universal across this area that's where protests have been happening? Have you heard a directive for people to go home? Is that potentially the alert that came to your phone here, and now these officers are taking action based on that?
Yes, I'm looking at it now. LAPD, avoid the area of Los Angeles and Temple Street. That's 1 block that way.
Okay.
Directly in front of the Federal Building. From what I've seen, I heard them declare an unlawful assembly on the other side of the Federal Building on Alameda, between Aliso and Los Angeles. And they just declared it on, between Aliso and Temple. And they just declared it on Los Angeles between Aliso and Temple, which is the other side of the complex of federal buildings. I'm 1 block over from that on Main. I haven't heard them declare an unlawful assembly here. I haven't seen a notice of them declaring an unlawful assembly here. But they are, as you can see at this intersection, using a number of less lethal tactics to disperse this crowd.
All right.
That's
David
what I can tell
Noriega.
you so far.
All right, David, we appreciate your reporting there in Los Angeles. And, of course, keep us apprised if things develop further where you are. We'll try to get back to you if we can here as the evening goes on. David, thank you.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.